Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I am super excited to be here on ThermOWeb's YouTube channel today. I have a couple of fun birthday cards to share with you with the technique of creating multicolor enamel backgrounds. So these are the ThermOWeb Rina K Designs Electro-Pop Neon Enamels. It's a different look than the foil. It's definitely a shiny look, but not foiled, kind of that enamel look. So we're going to use those. I have some stencils that I'm going to use. I have the Decofoil Transfer Gel Duo, and I have a sample of the Blanco gel. I have my stencil pal that's used to apply everything, and my pixie spray to keep everything in place, and some cardstock, some white cardstock. So I'm going to spray the background of my stencil. A little of that spray gets on my waffle flower water media mat, which keeps my cardstock in place, and then I'm going to place the stencil on top of that. And the pixie spray is going to keep that stencil and that cardstock in place perfectly so it doesn't slide around at all while you're applying your gel. I'm going to use the Duo gel first. So I'm going to scoop some out with a palette knife and I'm going to place it on the flat edge of the stencil pal. And I'm going to use a significant amount because if I have leftover, I have other backgrounds to create. So I can use this all up for sure. Once I have a good amount on my stencil pal, I'm going to place it onto the stencil at about a 45-degree angle and then just swipe it downward. The great thing about the stencil palette is you get really consistent coverage really easily with just a couple of swipes. I'm just going to peel that off and you can see that the Duo gel right now is white. We need to wait until it dries clear. So I'm going to peel that off my mat and get to work on my next background here. But I love the way that this looks. It just comes out beautifully because of the pixie dust keeping it in place and the stencil pal getting that nice consistent coverage. So I'm going to do this again with a different stencil so we can try out a couple of different backgrounds there. And I had plenty of the Duo gel on my stencil pal there. The great thing about the Duo gel is that you can use either pressure or heat to apply the enamels. So for that Duo gel, I'm just going to do this on white cardstock and I'm going to use it in my Gemini Junior to apply that pressure and to apply those enamels. So again, I'm just going to peel off that background. Usually the pixie spray keeps it so well in place that you need to use a palette knife just to get that edge up. So this time I'm going to do some colorful cardstock. With colorful cardstock, if you want a really opaque covering with your enamels, you want to use that Blanco gel because the Blanco gel actually dries white. It doesn't dry clear. So you can see how bright white it is. It's going to stay white even when it's dry. And because of that, you're going to be able to get that opaque coverage even on dark colored cardstock. I even love the way it looks just with the white. I think it's absolutely beautiful and such a nice pop of white on that dark color cardstock. So I'm going to do a couple of those as well and use a couple of different stencils so that we can try a couple of different backgrounds with those enamels on top of both the white cardstock and the colorful cardstock. You can see you can apply a little bit more or a little bit less depending on whether you want some dimension as well added to the stencil image there. Look at how cute those stars look in white. I think they're absolutely adorable. Okay, to get your multicolored backgrounds, you're going to cut strips of your enamels. So this is a good way to use up some extra strips that you may have as well. I have a parchment paper sandwich, and I'm going to use strips of the green and the yellow enamel sheets on top of my stenciled Blanco gel. Now, anything that's under each other with those enamels, it's not going to affect it. So you'll see that we can easily peel those off and you'll get 3 different sort of strips of color there. Okay, so once this is a little cool, you pull off and you get the green here and then you get the yellow, and that yellow overhanging the green didn't affect it at all. We got all 3 on there and I love the way that looks. It's so much fun, just another added interest to the background. Okay, for this one, I am going to cover up the majority or 2/3 bottom with the yellow, and then I'm going to use a piece of green on top. This strip was a little bit too small, so I cut another one that was a little bit thicker. But like I said, if you save your strips, if you cut down your piece of 6x6 down to 4¼ by 5½, and you have some extra strips, this is a great way to use them up and to get some multicolored backgrounds. Okay, so after running it through my laminator like the last one, I'm going to peel and reveal, and I get 2 different colors on this stenciled background. I love the way it looks like it's falling into the next color. Such a fun look and so easy to recreate. So this is my duo gel that I ran through my Gemini Junior, and you can see I did actually 3 colors here. I did the pink, orange, and yellow, and again, they overlap a little bit. That's okay. This is the duo gel, so I'm just going to peel these off and check this out, you guys. Oh my gosh, I just love how easy it is to create this multicolor background look with just the stencil, a gel, and then some strips of the enamels. And the fun neon look is just great for birthday cards, summer cards, teen cards, all kinds of things like that. So here are all the backgrounds that I created. I'm going to make a couple of cards. So I have a stamp set here from Rina K Designs and ThermOWeb, and I'm going to use the birthday sentiment and some confetti for this one. I am going to use the Rina K Designs Electro-Pop Neon inks to do all of my stamping. So I have the blue here, it's happy birthday to you, and I'm going to do that right in the middle of a die cut circle. And then once that's done, I am going to put this back in my MISTI, and I'm going to use the little confetti image around the outside. So I do kind of just rotate that circle. I'm keeping it in place with that magnet there, even though I'm not always placing the magnet on the circle because the ink is still a little bit wet. But I am just keeping it in place so that I can stamp this without worrying that I didn't get a good impression. That's why I use that mini MISTI to make sure that I get a great impression every single time. So this last one here, I didn't really judge how far the sentiment went over, so I had to move the stamp a little bit, but otherwise I was just rotating the circle around. Okay, I'm going to use my sticky strip runner from ThermOWeb to adhere this little card panel that we created with the multicolor neon enamels down to a 4¼ by 5½ piece of complementary cardstock color, and I'm going to adhere the white onto the same cardstock color cut in a scallop circle, and then I'm going to use some ThermOWeb Rina K Designs white foam tape to pop this up. This is a really simple card. I love the way the background looks, so I didn't want to do a whole lot on top of it, just kind of wanted to add a little fun birthday sentiment. And how cute is that? So you could definitely recreate all of these backgrounds, do a ton of them at one time, and then do some fun sentiments on top, and that would be it. You'd have a ton of birthday cards to add to your stash. For this one, I am using that neon yellow to stamp the balloon multiple times. The nice thing about the yellow is you can stamp it almost as a background ink. Because it's so bright and yellow, you can stamp a slightly darker color on top and still see both the balloons and the sentiment. So I'm going to use the pink on top, that Poppin pink right on top. It says time to celebrate in that stamp, and I love the way how some of the font is on the balloons and it turns almost orange when those two colors blend together. I'm going to do the same exact design here where I pop up that scalloped circle with the Rina K Designs for ThermOWeb foam tape, and that completes it, this card as well. But I love this one because it's got all the different colors in it, from pink to orange to yellow, in those tiny little hearts in the background. So this is just a really easy way to make some fun, bright backgrounds in lots of colors. I hope you'll try out this technique and create some multicolor backgrounds with your ThermOWeb Rina K Designs Electro-Pop Neon Enamels. If you're interested in any of the products that I use, they'll all be linked down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon.